Have you ever wondered where true success really comes from? We often think that as long as the conditions are right, a little more luck comes our way, or the world understands us better, success will naturally follow. Maybe you've told yourself before, if only I had more money, a better job, or if everything went smoothly, things would be easier and I'd succeed. But take a moment to pause and ask yourself, do those ideal conditions ever truly exist? The truth is, we can never fully control everything that happens in life. Unexpected events, unforeseen failures, or even personal limitations, they're all inevitable parts of life. So, how do we achieve success in a world filled with such challenges? Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror. The outside world might be chaotic, things might not go the way you want, but the person in that mirror, you, always has one thing no one and no circumstance can take away: inner strength. Stoicism is the philosophy that teaches us all the power to succeed already lies within us. Instead of seeking perfection from the outside world, what truly matters is how you think and how you act. This isn't some distant secret. It's a truth proven over thousands of years by great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Think about it. Can you change the world around you? Can you control everything that happens? Can you make everyone treat you the way you want? The answer is likely no. But the important thing is, you don't need to. The key lies in how you respond to these events. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Meaning, the very challenges and obstacles we face can become the path to success if we know how to face them and transform them. In today's video, we'll explore 10 Stoic secrets to success. These aren't dry, distant theories, but practical lessons that will help you. Master self-control. No longer relying on external conditions, not letting the outside world dictate your emotions and actions. Overcome adversity. Seeing every challenge as an opportunity for growth and development. Find success from within. Building a life based on sustainable values from within, rather than waiting for the world to change. Imagine how different your life could be if you learned to control your thoughts, stopped letting emotions take over, and faced every adversity with calm. You can achieve that, but to do so, you must start from within. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a powerful tool to help you live a life of control, no matter what the external world throws your way. In this video, we'll dive deep into each secret, each lesson from Stoicism. What you learn here won't just help you succeed in your career, but will bring you peace, confidence, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Are you ready to discover the hidden strength within you? Let's embark on this journey together, and you'll see that the true power to change your life doesn't come from the outside. It lies within you. Everything you need is already there. Now, it's time to uncover and use it. Here are 10 Stoic secrets to success. Get ready to change your mindset and change your life. Lesson 1. Harnessing inner strength. One of the core and most important principles of Stoicism is the concept of inner strength. This is the key that Stoic philosophers believe, if understood and tapped into, will allow you to overcome any hardship in life. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, two of the most famous Stoic philosophers, both agreed that everything you need to succeed is already within you. Not from external circumstances, not from praise, not from the help of others. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "Peace of mind is not found in external things, but in how we think about them." This profound statement holds a simple truth. We cannot control everything around us, but we can always control how we react. When you fully grasp this, you'll understand that inner peace and true success do not depend on what happens externally, but entirely on how you think and act. Take a practical example. Imagine you're working hard on a big project, only to find out that your efforts are not appreciated by your superiors. You might feel frustrated, angry, or even question your own abilities. In such moments, we often seek recognition from others. We long for praise or validation to prove that we did the right thing. But the truth is, you don't need it. Stoicism teaches that instead of relying on external factors to define your value, look within. Ask yourself, what are my core values? Did I do my best? What matters is not the recognition of others, but whether you acted in alignment with your own values and standards. If you know deep down that you gave your best and acted according to your beliefs, then external judgment no longer matters. Epictetus emphasized this when he said, "First, decide who you wish to be. Then do what you must to become that person." This means you don't need to wait for someone to guide you or for perfect conditions to act. All the power to change your life is already within you. Think of people who have overcome great adversity without relying on external factors. Take Nelson Mandela, for example, who endured over 27 years of imprisonment during the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. During that time, he received no support from the outside world, and the circumstances around him were filled with injustice and brutality. Yet, instead of being crushed by adversity, Mandela found strength within himself to maintain his spirit and remain committed to his core values of justice and equality. When he finally emerged from prison, Mandela did not allow bitterness to consume him. Instead, he chose to act from his inner strength, from a place of peace and forgiveness. Mandela's story is a powerful example of inner strength. He did not wait for the world to change. He created change from within, leading an entire nation to freedom. This is what Stoicism teaches us as well. Once you recognize the strength that lies within you, you will no longer be troubled by external circumstances. Circumstances may change, but you can remain true to your values and act from within. In everyday life, we often encounter setbacks or challenges and may easily feel powerless when things don't go as planned. But Stoicism reminds us that you don't need to control everything around you to succeed. What matters is controlling yourself. When faced with failure, instead of worrying or blaming yourself, ask, what can I control? What can't I control? Another example might be losing your job, something no one ever wants and often causes anxiety or disappointment. But apply Stoic principles. You can't change the fact that you lost the job, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to see it as an opportunity to explore new directions or find a job you're truly passionate about. Inner strength helps you avoid being dominated by circumstances and enables you to face challenges with reason. To develop inner strength, there's no other path than daily practice. You need to train your ability to reflect and control your thoughts. Try taking a few minutes each day to reflect on what you've done and ask, did I act according to my core values today? Did I control my thoughts? What can I improve? Marcus Aurelius, despite being a Roman emperor, faced countless hardships throughout his life, from wars to illness and even betrayals from those close to him. Yet, rather than allowing these challenges to defeat him, Marcus chose to control his mind. He regularly kept a journal, reflecting on his thoughts and how he maintained peace amidst the turmoil around him. He understood that no matter how much the outside world changed, his true strength came from within. In his book Meditations, Marcus wrote, "Look within. You have all the reasons to trust in yourself." So, inner strength is the key that Stoicism teaches us to achieve success and overcome any challenge. Once you are fully aware of your core values and can control your thoughts and emotions, you'll no longer be dependent on external circumstances. True power lies in how you think and act every day. Instead of seeking recognition or help from the outside, trust in yourself and act from within. When you do this, nothing can stand in your way to success. Lesson 2: The Art of Rationality and Control. The second lesson of Stoicism centers on the art of rationality and control. This is an incredibly important teaching in Stoic philosophy, helping us understand that while emotions may sometimes cloud our judgment, reason is the most powerful tool humans can use to navigate life and make the right decisions. Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Success is not just about what happens to you, but how you react and interpret those events." In life, many things are beyond our control, but one thing we always have power over is how we respond to them. And this must be based on reason, rationality, not on fleeting emotions. In Stoicism, rationality isn't about being cold or emotionless as many might think. It doesn't mean you have to suppress your feelings or ignore what your heart tells you. Instead, rationality is a tool to help you see things clearly, stripping away unrealistic thoughts, irrational fears, or ungrounded expectations. When you rely on rational thinking, you'll be able to see things as they truly are, without being overwhelmed by negative emotions or fleeting desires. Take a simple example from daily life. You're driving and someone rudely cuts you off. The natural reaction for many is anger, perhaps even wanting to retaliate. But Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you encounter something annoying, ask yourself, does this really affect me?" This question reminds us that the feeling of anger is just a passing emotion. It has no real value in your life, and letting it affect your actions will only make the situation worse. Instead, you can use rationality to view the situation objectively. Maybe that person is in a hurry. Maybe they didn't mean to be rude. And getting angry will only make me more tired. When you control your emotions, you'll find that the situation becomes much lighter. This is how rationality helps you view things more objectively, so you can respond wisely rather than letting emotions dictate your actions. Rationality in Stoicism doesn't mean resisting emotions, but understanding their origins and learning to control them. The Stoics never advised repressing emotions, as that can lead to negative consequences. Instead, they taught that you should understand why you feel a certain way, and then choose to react deliberately. For example, the fear of failure is a very common and natural emotion in life. We all worry at times about failing in work, studies, or a project. But stop and reflect. Where does this fear really come from? Are you worried about how others will view you if you fail? Are you afraid that failure will diminish your self-worth? According to Stoicism, the fear of failure shouldn't be a barrier that stops you from moving forward. Instead, understand this fear and choose to face it with rationality. If you fail, what will you learn? Failure doesn't diminish your value. It's simply part of the learning and growth process. When you view failure rationally, you'll see that it's not the end, but a stepping stone toward progress. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He meant that challenges aren't barriers, but opportunities to practice and develop ourselves. Learning to control emotions doesn't mean you'll never feel sadness, anger, or fear. These emotions are natural human responses. But the key is not letting them dominate your decisions and actions. Stoicism teaches that emotions can accompany you, but rationality is the guide. When you learn to understand your emotions and control them through reason, you'll be able to focus on actions aligned with your goals and core values, rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions. For example, in your work, there will be times when you face difficulties, pressure, or criticism from others. Instead of letting anger or hurt feelings throw you off course, use rationality to assess the situation. Ask yourself, is this really important? Does it impact my core values? If the answer is no, focus on what you can control and act according to your goals. A famous example comes from the life of Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher. He faced many setbacks and criticisms throughout his political career. But instead of letting negative emotions control him, he used rationality to master his emotions and reactions. He often said, "When we control our emotions, we control our lives." Rationality and emotional control are foundational to maintaining calmness and acting wisely in all circumstances. Life is full of uncontrollable events, but what you can always control is how you respond. Use rationality as your compass and control your emotions to act deliberately. That's the key to success, according to Stoicism. When you master your emotions and act from reason, you will no longer be swayed by external circumstances. You will focus on what you can control, and this will help you move forward on the path to success. Lesson 3. Embracing challenges as opportunities. We all know that challenges and adversity are unavoidable parts of life. From minor issues like rejection at work to major setbacks like losing someone you love or failing in a business, everyone will face difficulties at some point. But Stoicism, a philosophy that offers a unique and powerful approach to facing these challenges, teaches us to view adversity not as an enemy, but as an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." This simple sentence contains a profound lesson. Every obstacle you encounter is actually an opportunity to move forward. Instead of being held back by challenges, see them as part of the road you are traveling. Adversity itself becomes the way to success, if you know how to harness it. Ask yourself, every time you face difficulty, how do you react? Most of us tend to avoid, fear, or feel frustrated by challenges. This is completely natural, but Stoicism encourages us to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing obstacles as roadblocks, ask yourself, what can I learn from this challenge? How can I become better because of it? This is the fundamental difference between someone who only sees hardship and someone who knows how to leverage it to grow. Take the example of Marcus Aurelius himself. He was not just a philosopher, but also the emperor of the vast and complex Roman Empire. Throughout his life, he faced numerous wars, plagues, and even betrayals by those closest to him. These challenges didn't just affect the nation, they placed an enormous weight on his shoulders. But rather than feeling overwhelmed, Marcus saw every challenge as an opportunity to train himself. When faced with adversity, Marcus Aurelius didn't retreat. He didn't shy away from responsibility or blame circumstances. He actively faced the challenges and used adversity as a lesson. In his writings, he frequently referred to turning challenges into opportunities to strengthen his mind, patience, and inner strength. But how do you actually turn challenges into opportunities? This requires a crucial shift in mindset, from viewing adversity as negative to seeing it as a necessary step in your personal development. One way to start is to change the questions you ask yourself. When facing a challenge, instead of asking, "Why me?" or "Why is this happening?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this challenge? How can I become stronger from this experience?" This shift in questioning moves you from a passive mindset to an active one, from feeling overwhelmed by circumstances to seeing the potential in adversity. For example, think about athletes who excel. They aren't great just because of natural talent. They've faced countless difficult challenges in their training. Every time they fail, they don't see it as the end, but as an opportunity to strengthen themselves. Every time they fall, they get up stronger. This is exactly how you turn challenges into opportunities, and it applies not just in sports, but in all aspects of life. Similarly, when you face a setback at work or rejection in a relationship, see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. If you fail a project, pause and reflect. What went wrong? How can I improve next time? Failure is not an ending, it's part of the process of growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the obstacle in the way becomes the way. This philosophy teaches us that challenges don't stop you. They're the very path to success. Stoicism not only teaches us to see adversity differently, but also encourages us to act proactively in the face of challenges. When you face a difficulty, instead of waiting for it to pass, actively seek solutions. You may not be able to change the circumstances, but you can always control how you respond. By proactively facing challenges and using them as stepping stones for growth, you'll find that what seemed impossible to overcome turns into your greatest opportunities in life. Think of those who achieved great success after facing huge failures. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, failed thousands of times before succeeding. But instead of being defeated by failure, Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the Stoic spirit of turning challenges into opportunities. Every failure isn't a step back, but a step forward toward success. Challenges aren't things that stop you. They're opportunities for you to become stronger. When you face adversity, remember it's a chance to train your patience, resilience, and wisdom. Every time you encounter a difficulty, you have the chance to strengthen your inner power and grow. With this mindset, you'll no longer see failure as a barrier, but as a valuable lesson. Every obstacle becomes a step forward if you know how to use it. The key is to always remind yourself, no difficulty is meaningless. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity for you to learn and grow. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy about enduring hardship. It's about using hardship to grow. When you shift how you view challenges, you'll see that every difficulty brings new opportunities, and every adversity holds a lesson that can make you better. Lesson 4. Focus on the present moment. Life moves fast, and we often find ourselves caught up in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. However, Stoicism, with its profound philosophy on life, reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have. This isn't an abstract or vague idea, it's a practical truth. Fully embracing the present moment is key to finding peace and success in life. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous Meditations, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is a reminder that life is short and nothing is certain beyond the moment you're in right now. The past is gone, the future has not yet arrived, and the only thing we truly have control over is what we do in the present. Think about this. How many times have you been haunted by past mistakes or worried about what the future holds? Perhaps you've regretted decisions you made or worried endlessly about an upcoming project. Stoicism teaches us that these worries add no value to our lives. The past cannot be changed, and the future is not guaranteed, so worrying or regretting only takes away from the moment you can control. The present. Let's take a simple example from daily life. You're at work, but your mind keeps drifting to the presentation you didn't perform well on yesterday. Or you're anxious about an important meeting tomorrow and find yourself wondering whether you'll do well. Both of these scenarios pull you away from the present, reducing your ability to focus. Stoicism advises that you should channel your entire energy into the present because it's the only thing you can control. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Whatever can happen tomorrow, it can happen today." This emphasizes that we should never delay action. If something can be done now, do it now. Don't waste time dwelling on the future or regretting the past. Act in the present, because that's the only way to truly maximize every moment. Imagine being in an important meeting, but your mind is stuck on an argument you had with a colleague yesterday. This lack of focus can prevent you from making clear decisions. But if you release the past and concentrate entirely on the task at hand, you'll make wiser decisions and achieve better outcomes. A real-life example from Marcus Aurelius illustrates this principle clearly. As the Roman emperor, Marcus faced endless daily challenges, from wars to plagues. He didn't have the luxury of regretting past decisions or worrying about the empire's future. Instead, Marcus focused his energy on the present moment, making decisions based on the reality in front of him, grounded in his values. This allowed him to maintain peace of mind even in the face of overwhelming pressure. But how do we truly focus on the present moment? It's not easy, especially when our minds naturally wander to the past or future. Here are some practical methods to help you stay present and make the most of every moment. Practice presence. Train yourself to stop and recognize where you are and what you're doing. Ask yourself, am I fully focused on what's happening right now? If the answer is no, gently bring your attention back to the present. Let go of the past and future. When you find yourself thinking about the past or the future, remind yourself that only the present is within your control. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. Focus on what you can do right now. Act now, don't delay. If you notice something important that you can do now, do it. Don't wait for the perfect time in the future. The present is the only chance you have to take action. For example, if you're working on a large project, instead of worrying about how it will turn out, focus on what small step you can take right now. Each small action in the present adds up to a larger outcome in the future. But if you waste time worrying or waiting, you'll never make progress. Stoicism also teaches that when you truly live in the present moment, every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every failure contains valuable lessons, but you'll only realize that if you are fully present in the moment. When you're caught up in the past or future, you'll easily miss the opportunities right in front of you. Think about running a race. If you're constantly thinking about how much time you wasted at the start or worrying about whether you'll have enough energy to finish, you'll lose focus and run poorly in the present. But if you're fully focused on each step you're taking right now, you'll improve your pace and increase your chances of success. A perfect example is seen in professional athletes. They often talk about being in the moment during a game. They don't allow themselves to worry about the outcome or dwell on past mistakes. Their minds are completely focused on each play, each movement. This presence allows them to perform at their highest level and achieve remarkable success. In conclusion, focusing on the present is one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. The present moment is all you truly have, and it is the only chance you have to act and grow. Don't let the past haunt you or future worries steal your focus. Live fully in each moment, and you'll find that every second brings you valuable opportunities to learn, grow, and move forward. When you master the art of living in the present, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every small action in the present accumulates into great success in the future. Lesson 5. Self-reflection and continuous improvement. In today's fast-paced world, we often get caught up in the rush of daily life, forgetting to pause and reflect on our actions, achievements, and how we can improve. But for Stoicism, daily self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools to continuously improve and grow. It's how we look back at ourselves, examine our behaviors, thoughts, and emotions, and find ways to become a better version of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher, made time every day to reflect. In his book, Meditations, he wrote, "How have I behaved today? Have I lived in accordance with my values? What will I do better tomorrow?" These questions didn't just help him review his day, but were a way to constantly improve, moment by moment. Self-reflection isn't about criticizing yourself. Instead, it's a tool for self-awareness and continuous progress. Stoicism teaches that success is not a final destination. It doesn't come from reaching one grand goal and stopping there. Success is a journey of constant improvement. Every day presents an opportunity to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. But why is self-reflection so important? Stoicism believes that humans are constantly learning and growing. We are never perfect, and no one can claim to have reached the peak of development. Self-reflection keeps us humble by reminding us that there's always something more to learn, something to improve. Whether you've already achieved success or not, self-reflection allows you to recognize areas where you can do better, ways you can become wiser and more effective. For example, imagine you've had a stressful day at work. Throughout the day, you might have faced several difficult situations, from harsh criticism by colleagues to making tough decisions. At the end of the day, instead of continuing to worry about what happened, take a moment to reflect. How did I handle those situations? Did I act according to my values? What can I do differently next time to improve? In those moments of reflection, you'll develop deeper self-awareness and learn valuable lessons from each experience. This self-awareness will become the foundation for continuous growth. Self-reflection is not self-blame. It's important to remember that self-reflection isn't about blaming yourself or sinking into regret. Stoicism doesn't encourage harsh criticism or feeling bad about past mistakes. Instead, self-reflection is a way to learn. It helps you recognize what you did well and what you can improve. Rather than focusing on failure, focus on the lessons learned, because only learning and improving will lead to real progress. Consider the life of Seneca, another Stoic philosopher and Roman statesman. He faced many setbacks and betrayals in his career, including being exiled. But instead of blaming himself or sinking into despair, Seneca always used moments of reflection to understand how he could become stronger and do better in the future. Self-reflection was his tool to constantly train himself, maintaining inner peace despite life's many challenges. Every day is an opportunity to improve. Stoicism encourages us to see every day as a new opportunity to learn and grow. You don't have to wait until something major happens or until you have free time. Self-reflection can happen today, in every small moment. Often, the most valuable lessons come from the smallest things: how you treat others, how you react to difficulties, or how you think. Ask yourself, am I acting according to my core values? You can reflect on a difficult conversation you had during the day, a decision you weren't fully satisfied with, and consider how you might handle things better next time. This isn't about dwelling on mistakes, it's about a process of continuous improvement. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." When you reflect daily, you don't just acknowledge what you did, but you create the opportunity to improve how you respond in the future. Self-reflection helps you take control of your life. By reflecting on your actions and thoughts each day, you can take control of your life rather than letting it pass unconsciously. When you pause each day to think about your behavior, thoughts, and emotions, you become more confident in your decisions because you know you're acting based on self-awareness, not on habit or reflex. A practical way to incorporate self-reflection into your daily life is by journaling, just like Marcus Aurelius did. Writing down your thoughts at the end of the day helps you review what happened and extract lessons from the day's events. It doesn't need to be long, just a few short sentences such as, "How did I treat others today? How did I face difficulties? What can I improve tomorrow?" Self-reflection isn't a burdensome task, but a tool for ongoing improvement and growth. When you consistently review your actions and thoughts each day, you'll develop wisdom and gain a deeper ability to control your emotions and actions. Stoicism teaches that success doesn't come from reaching a final destination, but from a continuous journey of improvement. Every day is a small step forward on that journey, and self-reflection ensures that you're always moving in the right direction, always growing and improving. With this mindset, you'll never feel that you've done enough, because improvement is an ongoing process, and it's your commitment to daily self-reflection and improvement that will lead you to true success in life. Lesson 6. Mastering your reactions to external events. Life is a series of events, many of which are beyond our control. The weather can change unexpectedly, work may not go as planned, or people around us may treat us unfairly. But one of the core principles of Stoicism is the understanding that while we can't control everything that happens, we can always control how we react to these events. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that the nature of an event doesn't determine our emotional state. Our reaction to it does. Once we truly grasp this concept, we can maintain peace of mind even in the most difficult situations. Think about a typical day in your life. You might miss your bus in the morning, get misunderstood by a colleague in a meeting, or face criticism at work. In moments like these, most people would naturally feel angry, stressed, or upset. However, Stoicism reminds us that these negative emotions do not stem from the events themselves. They come from the way we perceive and interpret these events. For example, when you are criticized, it's easy to feel anger if you interpret that criticism as a personal attack. But what if you looked at the situation differently? What if you saw the criticism as an opportunity to learn and grow? Suddenly, the emotion of anger disappears, replaced by curiosity or even gratitude. The difference lies in your reaction, not the event itself. Epictetus advised that instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, we should focus on what we can control, our reactions. Whenever you face a challenging situation, ask yourself, what can I do to respond wisely and maintain my peace of mind? This mindset allows you to navigate life's challenges with clarity and calmness. Mastering your reactions is not easy, but it is a skill that can be developed. One of the most effective ways to master your emotions is to pause before reacting. When an unexpected event occurs, such as a failure at work, take a brief moment to ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? How can I respond in a way that brings peace and positive results? This pause reminds you that while you can't change the event, you can control how you move forward. For example, if a major project at work fails, your initial reaction might be disappointment or frustration. But rather than dwell on these emotions, you can choose to see the failure as a learning opportunity. You cannot change the fact that the project didn't succeed, but you can control how you will proceed from here. By mastering your reactions, you won't feel as impacted by external factors. Instead of being swept up in waves of negative emotions, you'll maintain clarity and calm. This is the power of inner control that Stoicism emphasizes. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This means that much of the pain, anxiety, or stress we experience comes not from the events themselves, but from how we mentally react to them. When we continuously ruminate and worry about something, we're actually creating unnecessary suffering for ourselves, rather than allowing the event to pass naturally. Take, for instance, dealing with criticism from others. When someone harshly criticizes you, it's natural to feel defensive or hurt. But if you pause and reflect, you might realize that their criticism does not define your worth. You can ask yourself, does this criticism truly reflect who I am? Is there anything I can learn from this feedback? By shifting your perspective, you can reduce the emotional impact and respond with clarity. Mastering your reactions to external events not only helps you maintain inner peace, but also allows you to act wisely in every situation. When you're not governed by external factors, you can make decisions based on reason and logic, rather than emotional impulse. This is at the heart of Stoicism, always maintaining control of yourself, no matter the external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, as Roman emperor, faced countless hardships throughout his life. He dealt with wars, plagues, and even betrayal from those close to him. None of these external events were within his control. Yet instead of allowing these events to disturb his inner peace, Marcus remained calm and focused by mastering his reactions. He refused to let the chaos around him influence his decisions or state of mind. So, how can we cultivate this ability to master our reactions? Here are some practical steps to guide you. Recognize your emotions. The first step in mastering your reactions is to be aware of your emotional responses. When you feel stressed, angry, or anxious, take a moment to recognize these feelings without immediately reacting. This helps create distance between your emotions and your actions. Pause before reacting. Train yourself to take a brief pause before responding to any unexpected event. This pause gives you the space to reflect and choose a more measured, thoughtful response. Focus on what you can control. Instead of trying to control external factors, things that are out of your hands, focus on how you can respond. This mindset shift helps you stay calm and rational, even in challenging situations. Accept that external events do not define your value. Sometimes, failures or criticisms can make us feel like we're not good enough. But Stoicism reminds us that our worth is not determined by what happens outside of us. What truly matters is how we live according to our values. Mastering your reactions to external events is a critical skill that enables us to stay calm and wise in any circumstance. Instead of letting the world around us dictate our emotions and actions, we take control of how we respond. By focusing on what we can control, our own perceptions and reactions, we find peace and inner strength, no matter what happens outside. Remember, it's not the event itself that makes you suffer, but how you perceive and react to it. Mastering yourself is the key to maintaining peace and making smarter decisions in every situation. Lesson 7. The role of compassion and empathy. In life, we often hear that Stoicism focuses on self-control and building inner strength to face challenges. But what many don't realize is that Stoicism also emphasizes compassion and connection with others. This philosophy isn't just about personal development. It teaches us to build strong communities by practicing kindness and understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently advised that everyone around us is dealing with their own struggles. Therefore, showing compassion to others isn't just a virtue. It's essential to living according to Stoic values. Compassion, as Marcus taught, is not about feeling sorry for someone, but understanding deeply that every person is fighting battles we cannot see. Think about everyday life. There are times when you feel frustrated because someone didn't treat you well, or when others behave selfishly or irresponsibly. Our natural reaction might be anger or irritation. But Stoicism teaches us to pause and ask ourselves, what might this person be going through that led to this behavior? Can I approach this situation with more compassion? This is the essence of compassion, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to understand their struggles. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is in your power, help others. If not, at least do no harm." This is a powerful reminder that practicing compassion and empathy isn't just about being kind to others. It's also a way to live a more virtuous and stoic life. Helping others doesn't only mean material aid, but also showing understanding and patience in difficult situations. Empathy and compassion help us build stronger relationships. When you approach others with compassion, you create an environment of trust and understanding where people can feel supported. This benefits not just the people around you, but also yourself, because compassion opens your heart and allows you to connect deeply with others. Let's take a workplace example. Imagine you have a coworker who is not performing well, or who seems to have a negative attitude. Instead of feeling frustrated or distancing yourself from them, try practicing compassion. Ask yourself, what challenges might they be facing? How can I understand their situation better? When you approach others with empathy, you not only improve your own emotional response, but also create stronger, healthier relationships. Compassion is not a sign of weakness. It's a demonstration of inner strength and self-control. Stoicism teaches that when you can control your own emotions, rather than letting them control you, you naturally open yourself up to understanding and caring for others. Because you're not swept away by your own negative reactions, you can see the pain in others and respond with kindness. Compassion also helps you maintain inner peace in difficult situations. When you respond to others with empathy, you're less likely to feel anger or frustration when they don't treat you well. This doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of you. It means choosing to respond with calmness and compassion, rather than with anger or resentment. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, also spoke about compassion and empathy. He said, "We are all part of a larger whole. Always remember that everyone plays their part in the greater collective, and act with kindness and humanity." This emphasizes that we are all interconnected. When we practice compassion, we not only help others, but contribute to the betterment of society as a whole. Consider historical figures like Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he did not hold on to anger against those who oppressed him. Instead, Mandela chose the path of compassion and reconciliation. His empathy and understanding, even towards his oppressors, not only helped him succeed personally, but also united a divided nation. Practicing compassion and empathy is not just about becoming a better person, it's about finding inner peace. When you put yourself in others' shoes, you gain a better understanding of their struggles, and in doing so, avoid unnecessary anger or frustration. Stoicism reminds us that everyone is fighting their own battles, and by showing compassion, you not only help them but also grow into a more understanding and kind individual. To practice compassion, you don't need to perform grand gestures. Small acts like truly listening to someone, showing patience when they make mistakes, or simply offering a kind word can make a significant impact on those around you. and in doing so, you'll find yourself feeling more peaceful and balanced. Compassion and empathy are essential parts of Stoicism because they help us control ourselves and build stronger connections with the world around us. When you practice compassion, you not only improve the lives of others but also create a better world. A world where understanding and connection are valued. Remember, compassion benefits both the giver and the receiver. It allows you to become a more resilient, peaceful, and empathetic person. Lesson 8. Embracing change and adaptability. Change is one of the few certainties in life. We can never fully predict what will happen in the future, and often, sudden changes can leave us feeling anxious, insecure, or even fearful. But Stoicism teaches us that change is not something to be feared. Rather, it is a natural and inevitable part of life. By accepting change and learning to adapt, we unlock the key to inner peace and success. Marcus Aurelius, in many of his writings, emphasized that change is unavoidable, and it's not something we need to dread. He wrote, "Change is not something to be feared, but it is a necessary part of life." When viewed through the lens of Stoicism, we understand that it's not the change itself that causes us pain. It's our resistance to it. If we resist change, it becomes a burden. But if we accept it and learn to adapt, we find opportunities to grow and move forward. Think about your own life. How many times have you faced unexpected changes? Perhaps it was a sudden job loss, a move to a new city, or the loss of a loved one. These kinds of changes can naturally bring about fear, uncertainty, and even a sense of loss of control. But Stoicism reminds us that change is inevitable, and it is our attitude toward change that will determine how we experience it. Rather than resisting change, Stoicism encourages us to embrace it. Accepting that everything is in flux and that nothing is permanent helps us become more resilient and creative. The Stoics emphasize that nothing in life is permanent. Whether it's wealth, health, or relationships, everything can change at any moment. Once we accept this reality, we stop worrying about holding on to things we can't control and start focusing on how we can adapt to the present moment. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails." This means that while we can't control the external circumstances around us, we can control how we respond and adapt to them. This is the Stoic approach. Rather than wasting energy trying to resist or change what is outside of our control, we can adjust ourselves and our attitudes to better navigate the situation. Let's take an example from everyday life. Suppose you've been working for years in a company, but suddenly, due to unforeseen circumstances, you're laid off. Most people's initial reaction would be fear, frustration, or anger about the loss of their job and the uncertainty of the future. However, Stoicism reminds us that this change is not necessarily the end, but could be an opportunity for growth. Instead of focusing on what's lost, ask yourself, how can I adapt? What can I learn from this change to move forward in my career? By accepting change, you cultivate mental flexibility, and this flexibility helps you confront any challenge life throws your way. Change isn't just a challenge, it's an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. When you learn to adapt to the changes that come your way, you unlock creativity and patience, allowing you to overcome adversity with greater strength. Of course, accepting change is easier said than done, but Stoicism provides some practical tools to help us embrace and adapt to life's inevitable shifts. Acknowledge that change is inevitable. Constantly remind yourself that nothing lasts forever. Whether it's your career, relationships, or even your health, these things are subject to change at any moment. Accepting this reality helps reduce anxiety and makes you more prepared to deal with sudden shifts. Focus on what you can control. As Stoicism teaches, we waste precious energy when we try to control the uncontrollable. Instead, direct your energy toward what you can do now to adapt to the situation. For instance, if you lose your job, rather than dwelling on what's lost, focus on acquiring new skills or seeking new opportunities. See change as an opportunity. Instead of viewing change as an obstacle, try to see it as a chance to grow. Every change brings with it new experiences and lessons. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this change? How can I become better because of it? Imagine you're dealing with a significant change in your personal life, like the end of a long-term relationship. While it's natural to feel sadness and confusion, Stoicism would advise you to accept the situation as part of life's constant ebb and flow. Rather than fixating on the loss, shift your perspective to how this change might open doors for personal growth. Perhaps it's an opportunity to focus on self-improvement, rediscover personal passions, or even build new, meaningful relationships in the future. A notable example of embracing change and adapting can be found in the life of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. After being fired from the very company he started, Jobs could have seen this change as a devastating failure. But instead, he used this time to innovate, founding Next and Pixar, two companies that later had a major impact on both technology and entertainment. Eventually, he returned to Apple and led it to worldwide success. What seemed like a major setback turned out to be a critical step in his journey of growth and innovation. Stoicism doesn't just help us face adversity, it helps us understand that change is an integral part of life. Instead of fearing it, we should learn to embrace and adapt to it. By accepting that everything is always in flux, you become less anxious about what might happen in the future and more focused on adapting to what is happening now. Change doesn't have to be an enemy, it can be a teacher. When we open our hearts and minds to change, we start to see that it can bring unexpected opportunities for growth. The key is to remain flexible, adaptable, and open to learning from every new experience life brings. Here are some practical ways to embrace and adapt to change. Remind yourself that change is inevitable. Keep this thought in mind when things start to shift. Accepting that everything changes will make it easier to let go of things that are beyond your control. Stay focused on the present. Avoid dwelling too much on what has changed or what might happen next. Focus on what you can do in this moment to navigate the change effectively. Look for the opportunities in change. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can this change make me stronger or more capable? A great example of someone adapting to change is Malala Yousafzai, who survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban. Instead of letting this life-altering event break her spirit, she adapted to her new reality and turned her focus toward advocating for girls' education worldwide. Malala didn't resist the change. She used it to fuel her mission and become a global symbol of courage and resilience. Stoicism teaches us that life will always change, often in ways we can't foresee or control. But by accepting this fact and learning to adapt, we become more resilient, creative, and at peace with ourselves. Change is not the end. It's a new beginning, a fresh chapter in the story of your life. When you face change with flexibility, you unlock new paths for growth and progress. What matters most is not the change itself, but how you respond to it. So, the next time you're confronted with an unexpected shift in your life, remember, change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. When you do, you'll find new opportunities waiting for you on the other side. Lesson 9. Living in harmony with the natural rhythm of life. Life is a series of cycles, constantly flowing and changing, much like the natural rhythms of the seasons. Stoicism teaches us that to live a balanced, fulfilling life, we must align ourselves with these natural rhythms, both in the world around us and within our own minds and bodies. When we understand and embrace these cycles, we find a sense of peace, balance, and sustainable success. In Stoicism, there's a deep appreciation for the natural order of the world. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, believed that everything in the universe operates according to a rhythm, a set of patterns and cycles that we cannot control but can learn to live in harmony with. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his writings, what happens in nature is never rushed, yet everything is accomplished. Nature takes its time, and so should we. This principle of living in harmony with the natural flow of life is not about passivity, but about understanding when to act and when to pause. It's about recognizing that there is a time for action and a time for reflection. Just as nature goes through cycles, spring bringing growth, summer fostering productivity, autumn preparing for rest, and winter allowing for recovery, so too do we experience seasons in our lives. Let's consider how these natural rhythms apply to us. There are times when we are energized and ready to take on the world, and there are times when we feel tired, drained, or in need of rest. Stoicism teaches us to respect these internal signals, to listen to when our body and mind need a break. By doing so, we maintain balance and avoid burnout. When we ignore these signals and push ourselves too hard, we disrupt the harmony within ourselves, leading to exhaustion, stress, and eventually, a loss of direction. Think about this in terms of your daily life. Many people live in a constant state of go, always pushing themselves to achieve more, often without giving themselves time to recharge. This relentless pursuit can lead to physical and mental burnout. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "A tired mind must be allowed to rest, just as a tired body needs sleep." This quote highlights the importance of taking time to rest and rejuvenate, not only for our physical health, but also for our mental well-being. Living in harmony with the natural rhythm of life means recognizing when to act and when to rest. It's understanding that there are seasons for growth and seasons for reflection. It doesn't mean we stop pursuing our goals or ambitions, but rather, we learn to pace ourselves according to the natural flow of life. Take the example of someone working on an important project. If they push themselves non-stop, refusing to rest, they may achieve short-term success, but it will likely come at the cost of their health, happiness, or quality of work. Stoicism would advise this person to work diligently when needed, but also to take time for recovery, knowing that rest is a vital part of long-term success. Nature itself is a perfect teacher when it comes to balance. Consider how the seasons flow seamlessly from one to the next, each serving a purpose. Spring brings growth and new beginnings. Summer is a time of flourishing and productivity. Autumn is for harvest and reflection, and winter is for rest and renewal. If nature can teach us anything, it's that there is a time for everything, and that we should honor each phase in our lives. The Stoics believed that to live in accordance with nature was to live in harmony with the world's inherent order. For us, this means not only accepting the cycles and changes of the external world, but also learning to recognize and honor our own internal cycles. This could be as simple as recognizing when you need to step back from a project to reflect, or knowing when your energy levels are telling you it's time for a break. Let's consider a practical example. Think of an athlete training for a marathon. They understand that to succeed, they must train intensely, but they also know the importance of rest and recovery. Overtraining can lead to injury or exhaustion, but with proper rest, they allow their body to rebuild and grow stronger. Similarly, in our daily lives, we must understand when to push ourselves and when to step back and recover. To live in harmony with life's natural rhythms, Stoicism offers some practical advice. Number 1. Listen to your body and mind. Pay attention to signs of fatigue or burnout. If you feel drained, give yourself permission to rest. Stoicism doesn't encourage endless action without reflection. Take time to pause, reflect, and recharge. Number 2. Recognize the cycles of life. Not every day, month, or year will be one of high productivity or success. There will be seasons of growth and seasons of rest. By accepting that there are times when you need to slow down, you avoid the frustration of trying to constantly push yourself. Number 3. Balance action with rest. Just as important as pursuing your goals is the need to balance that pursuit with periods of rest and reflection. This balance ensures that you don't exhaust yourself and allows you to maintain focus and clarity over the long term. An illustration of this principle can be found in nature. Trees, for instance, don't bear fruit all year long. There's a season for blossoming, a season for growth, and a season for rest. During the winter, trees appear barren, but beneath the surface, they're gathering strength for the coming spring. If we apply this same understanding to ourselves, we recognize that times of rest are just as important as times of action. Without rest, we can't grow to our full potential. Stoicism teaches us that, like nature, we must respect these periods of rest and reflection as much as we do periods of productivity. Marcus Aurelius also reminds us of this in his teachings. Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs. This means embracing both the busy, productive times and the quieter, reflective times in life, as part of the greater design of the universe. When we align ourselves with these natural rhythms, we create a life of balance. Instead of fighting against the natural flow of events, we learn to work with them. This allows us to not only achieve success, but also to maintain our mental and physical well-being along the way. It's important to recognize that every phase of life serves a purpose. When we're in a season of rest, it's not a time of inactivity, but a time of preparation and growth. Just as in nature, where winter prepares the ground for spring, moments of quiet reflection and rest prepare us for future achievements. This perspective helps us value every stage of life's journey, knowing that each has its own role to play in our overall well-being. To live in harmony with life's natural rhythm, consider these questions. Are you pushing yourself too hard in a season where you should be reflecting or resting? Are you honoring the natural ebb and flow of your energy, or are you trying to force productivity when it's not the right time? Can you embrace the quieter moments in your life as essential parts of your growth, rather than seeing them as setbacks? Living in harmony with life's natural rhythm is not about achieving less, it's about achieving more in the long run. By understanding and respecting these cycles, we avoid burnout and maintain a sustainable pace. We learn that rest is not the opposite of productivity, but a crucial part of it. So, as you move forward in your life and career, remember to live in sync with the natural rhythms around and within you. Know when it's time to act and when it's time to rest. Respect your need for reflection, for in those quiet moments, we often find our greatest clarity. The Stoics understood this balance deeply, and their wisdom can guide us to not only success, but a life lived in harmony and peace. Lesson 10. The pursuit of virtue as the path to success. In Stoicism, the concept of virtue is not just an ethical ideal, it is the very foundation upon which true success is built. Unlike the modern view of success, which often revolves around wealth, fame, or power, Stoicism teaches that real success comes from living a virtuous life. The Stoics believe that virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are the keys to a life of meaning and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, emphasized that success does not come from external achievements, but from living in harmony with our values. To the Stoics, the path to success was clear. Cultivate virtue in everything you do, and success will naturally follow. The pursuit of external rewards, money, fame, or status, was seen as fleeting and unreliable. But virtue, they believed, is permanent and unshakable. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism. Stoicism revolves around four key virtues, which serve as the compass for navigating life's challenges and opportunities. These virtues are: 1. Wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to make sound judgments and decisions based on knowledge and understanding. It allows us to differentiate between what is within our control and what is not. Epictetus often taught that wisdom involves knowing how to respond to life's circumstances with clarity and perspective. It's not about having all the answers, but about knowing how to ask the right questions. Imagine a situation where you face a difficult decision at work. Perhaps you're pressured to take a shortcut that compromises your integrity. Wisdom is what guides you to make the ethical choice, even if it means taking the harder road. When you cultivate wisdom, you learn to see beyond immediate gratification and focus on long-term growth and moral integrity. A modern example of wisdom can be seen in leaders who prioritize the well-being of their teams over personal gain. Nelson Mandela is an excellent example of a leader who exercised wisdom by making difficult but just decisions, even when it came at a personal cost. His ability to think beyond his immediate circumstances and make choices based on justice and integrity exemplifies the Stoic pursuit of wisdom. Number 2. Courage. Courage in Stoicism is not simply about physical bravery, but about moral strength, the ability to do what is right even in the face of fear, adversity, or discomfort. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius constantly emphasize that courage is essential in moments of uncertainty. Without courage, wisdom cannot be applied because fear and doubt would always hold us back. Courage is needed to stand by our values when they are challenged, to speak the truth even when it is uncomfortable, and to persevere through hardship without giving up. Marcus Aurelius, as a Roman emperor, led during times of plague, war, and political instability. It would have been easier to compromise or succumb to pressure, but he chose courage, continuously leading with integrity and strength. For instance, think of someone like Rosa Parks, whose refusal to give up her seat on a segregated bus sparked the civil rights movement. Her courage to stand up against injustice, even in the face of danger, represents the kind of inner strength Stoicism values. Courage, in this sense, is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Number 3. Justice. Justice, for the Stoics, is about fairness, honesty, and treating others with respect. It is the virtue that reminds us that we are all part of a larger community, and that our actions should benefit not just ourselves, but others. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, often wrote about the importance of justice as the foundation of a good society. He said, "We are all part of the same body, and no one can be happy if others are suffering." Justice requires us to act ethically in all areas of life, whether in personal relationships, business, or society. It's the recognition that success should not come at the expense of others. A life led by justice means standing up for what is right and ensuring that our actions contribute to the common good. A modern example of justice is seen in leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for equality and human rights through peaceful resistance. Gandhi's commitment to justice and fairness, even when it was difficult, shows how this virtue is integral to a life of success that is not only personal but also contributes to the well-being of others. Number 4. Temperance. Temperance is the virtue of self-control, moderation, and balance. It's about knowing when enough is enough and not allowing ourselves to be ruled by excess, whether in our emotions, desires, or actions. The Stoics believe that temperance is key to avoiding destructive behaviors and maintaining focus on what truly matters. In a world where instant gratification is often prioritized, temperance helps us resist the urge to overindulge. It reminds us that true success comes from long-term fulfillment, not from temporary pleasures. Epictetus emphasized the importance of controlling desires, stating that if we allow ourselves to be driven by cravings or impulses, we lose control over our lives. Think of someone like Warren Buffett, who lives modestly despite his vast wealth. He practices temperance by not allowing greed or materialism to control his life, instead focusing on long-term sustainable growth, both personally and professionally. His self-discipline and moderation exemplify the Stoic virtue of temperance. Why virtue leads to success? The Stoics believed that living a virtuous life leads to success because it aligns us with our true nature. They argued that we cannot control external circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them. By living according to virtue, we ensure that our responses are always guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Let's explore why this approach leads to true success. Number 1. Inner peace and stability. When you live by virtue, you cultivate a sense of inner peace that cannot be shaken by external events. Whether you succeed or fail in a worldly sense, you remain grounded because your sense of self-worth comes from within. You know that you are acting with integrity, and that is more valuable than any material success. Number 2. Resilience in the face of adversity. Virtue helps you navigate life's challenges with resilience. Stoicism teaches that setbacks, failures, and hardships are inevitable, but they are also opportunities to practice virtue. When you respond to difficulties with wisdom, courage, and temperance, you grow stronger and more capable of handling future challenges. For example, when facing a career setback, instead of feeling defeated, a Stoic would see it as a chance to practice resilience and improve their skills. By approaching adversity with virtue, you turn obstacles into stepping stones for growth. Number 3. Lasting fulfillment. Unlike wealth or fame, which can be fleeting, living a virtuous life brings lasting fulfillment. When you focus on virtue, you are no longer chasing external rewards. Instead, you find contentment in knowing that you are living according to your highest values. This kind of fulfillment is unshakable, regardless of what happens around you. Marcus Aurelius taught that the pursuit of virtue is the only path to true happiness. He believed that when you live with virtue, you are in harmony with the universe, and that is the ultimate form of success, living a life of virtue in the modern world. How can we apply the Stoic pursuit of virtue in today's world, where success is often measured by external achievements? Here are some practical ways to incorporate the Stoic virtues into your daily life. Number 1. Practice wisdom. In every decision, ask yourself if you are seeing things clearly. Are you being guided by reason, or are you letting emotions cloud your judgment? Take time to reflect before making important choices. Number 2. Cultivate courage. Don't shy away from difficult situations. Whether it's standing up for what's right, facing a personal fear, or pursuing a challenging goal, practice courage by taking action despite your fears. Number 3. Embrace justice. Treat others fairly and with respect. Make decisions that benefit not just yourself, but the people around you. Remember that we are all part of a larger community, and your actions have an impact on others. Number 4. Exercise temperance. Keep your desires in check. Practice moderation in all things, from food and drink to work and play. Recognize that more is not always better, and that balance is key to a successful, fulfilling life. By incorporating these virtues into your life, you not only move closer to success, but you also build a character that is resilient, grounded, and fulfilled. The Stoics believe that virtue is the only true measure of success because it is something that no one can take away from you. Wealth, fame, and power can come and go, but virtue is eternal. Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." This reflects the Stoic belief that success is not about what you achieve, but about who you become through the process of living a virtuous life. In the end, Stoicism teaches us that success is not a destination, but a journey. A journey marked by constant self-improvement, the pursuit of virtue, and the cultivation of inner peace. The Stoics believe that by living in accordance with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we can find true fulfillment, regardless of the external circumstances. As you apply these principles to your life, remember that the path to success is not always easy, but it is always meaningful. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus remind us that the only real measure of success is how well we live according to our values. When you prioritize virtue over external rewards, you not only achieve success, but you also live a life of purpose, integrity, and lasting happiness. In the end, the Stoic path is about becoming the best version of yourself, and that is the truest form of success.